Do you ever feel like you have massive dreams, but you're stuck in a cycle of doing nothing? You're not alone. Let's talk about Kieran, a young man who might sound a lot like someone you know. Kieran was famous in his town, but not for his achievements. Everyone knew him as the guy with the biggest dreams and the smallest actions. He'd spend his days lost in thought, picturing a future filled with success, fame, and fortune. He could describe his dream life in perfect detail, but when it came to actually building it, his days were empty. He'd wake up, think about all the amazing things he could do, and then nothing. The sun would set, and Kieran would be left with a familiar feeling of frustration and disappointment. His dreams felt like a distant, beautiful island he could see but never reach. One quiet evening, as Kieran sat staring into the distance, his grandfather came and sat beside him. He could see the storm of frustration brewing in his grandson's eyes. "Kieran," he began, his voice calm and gentle, "your dreams are like beautiful stars in the night sky. But what good are stars if you only look at them and never use them to navigate?" Kieran sighed. "I don't know where to start, Grandpa. My dreams are so big and I feel so small. The thought of all the work just paralyzes me." His grandfather smiled knowingly. "That's where you're mistaken," he said. "You think you need a giant leap, but all you need is a single step. Ambition is the map, but effort is the fuel. Without fuel, even the best map is useless." Kieran listened, but the advice still felt abstract. How could one small step make a difference? His grandfather seemed to read his mind. "Don't try to build the entire castle tomorrow," he continued. "Just lay one brick. Just one. Do one small thing every single day that moves you a tiny bit closer to your dream. That's the secret. That is how you transform the heavy weight of laziness into the powerful engine of ambition." That night, Kieran's grandfather's words echoed in his mind. One brick. One small thing. It sounded so simple, almost too simple. Could it really work? He was skeptical, but he was also tired of his own inaction. He decided he had nothing to lose. The very next morning, something was different. Instead of letting his mind wander into daydreams, Kieran decided to follow his grandfather's advice. He took out a notebook and wrote down his biggest dream: to become a renowned writer. The goal felt massive, terrifying even. But then he remembered one brick, so he broke it down. What was the smallest possible action he could take today? He decided on 3 simple, manageable tasks. First, read for just 20 minutes from a book by an author he admired. Second, write down 3 ideas for a story, no matter how silly they seemed. And third, spend 15 minutes learning a new word to expand his vocabulary. That first day, it felt almost ridiculous. 20 minutes of reading, 15 minutes of learning. It felt like dropping a single grain of sand on a beach. How could this ever build a castle? A voice of doubt whispered in his ear, "This is pointless. You're wasting your time." But a stronger voice, his grandfather's, replied, "One brick," repeated consistently. So he pushed the doubt aside and completed his small tasks. At the end of the day, he hadn't written a masterpiece, but he had done something, and that felt surprisingly good. The next day, he did it again, and the day after that. Slowly but surely, days turned into weeks. The daily routine of small actions started to feel less like a chore and more like a habit. It became a part of his day, like brushing his teeth. And a remarkable thing began to happen. The overwhelming, paralyzing feeling he used to get when thinking about his dreams started to fade. In its place, a quiet confidence began to grow. He wasn't just a dreamer anymore. He was a doer. Each completed task, no matter how small, was a victory. It was proof that he was in control. These small wins created a powerful chain reaction, building momentum. The more he did, the more he wanted to do. Soon, his friends and family started to notice a change. Kieran wasn't the same guy who used to just talk about his dreams. He was alive with purpose. "Kieran, what's gotten into you?" one of his friends asked, amazed. "You seem so different, so focused. You're actually making things happen." Kieran just smiled. He didn't have a secret formula or a magic pill. His transformation wasn't a sudden burst of genius. It was the quiet, unglamorous result of daily discipline. "I learned something important," Kieran told his friend. "Laziness feels permanent, but it's not. It's just a habit, and habits can be changed. When you combine your ambition with consistent small efforts, even the biggest dreams start to feel achievable." Months passed, turning into a year. When Kieran looked back, he was astonished by what he had accomplished. He had finished his first short story and submitted it to a magazine. He had built a small online following by sharing his writing. He was even outlining his first novel. None of this happened overnight. It happened because he chose to lay one brick every single day. He hadn't become a different person. He had simply unlocked the potential that was always inside him. He learned that the journey to success isn't a sprint. It's a marathon built of countless small, deliberate steps. His ambition was no longer just a dream in the clouds. It was the compass guiding his daily actions on the ground. So, what's the one brick you can lay today? Don't let the size of your dream paralyze you. Start small, stay consistent, and let your ambition be the guide for your actions. You have the power to turn your own story of laziness into a story of incredible achievement. If this story resonated with you and gave you a little push, that makes our day. We create these stories to help you feel inspired, grow wiser, and even improve your English along the way. If you'd like more content like this, please consider subscribing to Stories by Heart and turning on notifications. Thank you for watching, and remember, your great story is just one small step away.